lady. Hello! We're here. We're live. Welcome back to part 2 of our Valentine's Day festivities. Valentine's Day, of course, being the official Blades in the Dark / Random Encounters Guild holiday. The only one that really matters. So, last time on Blades in the Dark, I guess, on Carrying Crew, whatever we call the show, our intrepid scoundrels snuck out past the lightning barrier into the Lost District because they need to retrieve a book for an unknown faction of some kind. They don't actually know who they're doing this for, which is normal and healthy. A good way to be. Yeah. So they snuck into a library which is a little bit dilapidated, a little bit falling apart, and got a small taste of what life was in Duskfall before the cataclysm, before the sun was dark all the time. And it was pretty different from how Duskfall is now. The group pretty much immediately split up and all went their separate ways based on what they were interested in. So down at the farthest, the scriptorium, the bottom level of this underground facility, we have most of our crew at the moment who is currently working their way towards some sort of occult ritual summoning circle situation that's surrounded by dead bodies, and the closer they get to it, the more their words that they speak out loud, and then their thoughts, and then their life's work and memories are sort of written in ink onto their skin. Also normal, fine, and healthy. Meanwhile, upstairs, it turns out that the head librarian here, poor thing, Fawn, from 100 years ago or so, happened to be madly in love with a man named Edlin who looked just like the Hawk. Wouldn't you know it? So he is going on a lovely date while his long-lost love, Fawn, is touring the library with him since he's been gone, and now he's back from the war as a Skovland officer, and they're reunited again. So, yeah, I mean, what more could you want from Valentine's Day, honestly? And I think before we get straight into it, we're just gonna go ahead, go around the room, say who we are. I'm Jenna. I'm the game master here for this particular crew. And Brandon, who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, Random Encounter Guild. My name is Brandon. I am playing Vale the Slide, Fool Extraordinaire. I'll pass it over to Guildmaster Scott.
Hi, I'm Guildmaster Scott, and I'm very, very ill. Please join us over on the Random Encounters Guild. There's a link to Discord. We play a bunch of cool games with a bunch of cool people. Brett, speaking of, Scott. Let's go, Scott. Cool people.
Speaking of cool people,
cool
not
people,
Brett.
Yeah, not me.
Who are you playing, Scott?
I am playing the Hawk, Eddie the Hawk Hawkins. He's a lurk, and he's in a very uncomfortable situation thanks to my own personal bully.
I'm also Scott, or other Scott, or any other Scott. And I am playing Barnabas Fisher, the whisper of the group. Down to Brett.
And last and least, Brett.
Brett, I am playing Peebo Jorts, the lovely muscle cutter of the group, who seems to have been taking over some of the talking roles, even though I really shouldn't have been, and it's going swell. So he's not shy about it, but the results aren't always great. But hey, that's what we're here for.
Everything about this score is going swell.
It's actually going pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah.
Considering how many bad stuff notes I have jotted down that have not been used, I mean, I think you guys are doing great.
I mean, that clock only has one tick left on it, so.
Before the guests arrive from Dyson Manor.
It's fine.
I I do have a quick question for you. For the hawk, really. Of the two
Oh, great.
options here, one of which is being on a date with a ghost who is not violent towards you at all, or being downstairs in the creepy spooky room with all the dead bodies and your life goals, hopes, dreams, fears, and failures are slowly written on your skin. Honestly, where would you rather be? Where would the
Well,
hawk...
you sort of gave me the impression that hanging out with this ghost was slowly killing me. So,
And you think that they're not slowly dying?
Aren't we all really slowly dying?
Yeah.
some of us quicker than others, apparently.
Well, it happens that way. Last, I'm gonna go ahead and start with our Twitter-pated couple. So last we left off with you. You had managed to get Fawn to try and show you a different part of the library because she was trying to show you somewhere where the floor had like completely given out and there was a hole in the middle, and she doesn't realize that. She's like stuck in the past and she was just like floating over top, and you can't do that because you're alive. So you managed to get her to show you a different part of the library, and as she's doing that, you actually pass a door that was not on the kind of like for guests map of the place that was up in the foyer welcome area. And this door looks very locked. There is a little plaque on the side that says Duskball government employees only, and it has like the district name and official government office records is like on the plaque. You can see from here that the lock on this door is subtle. Like, it doesn't look like a big gaudy bank vault, right? But you can see that this is like a very sturdy door, sturdy lock. Like, you know these things well enough to know, like, that's not nothing.
And the front desk is a good distance away. We're not anywhere near that, are we?
Mm-hmm. You are on the second floor. The front desk is on the main.
Oh, well, I'm assuming there was a librarian station there at the entrance where we came in, but
Yeah, there's kind of a desk like that on every
for the
guest
stamp
facing floor.
overdue
Yeah.
books. I mean, there's no way for me to pick this lock with her right there. It's gonna. I feel like anything I do untoward is going to cause a Ghostbusters type transformation in her demeanor.
She's the librarian. Why do you need to open it?
I mean, yeah. My dear, what is beyond this door? Why is this door shut off from the rest of the room?
Oh, that connects to the government offices. We have a shared archival space because the librarians, with our particular skills, we keep up with all of those things. So that's technically not within the purview of the library. It's technically the district office, but we connect there. It's mostly legal documentation, the blueprints and charter for the district. I mean, there isn't anything really interesting in there.
Do you believe there's anything in there that would help us recover from the war?
Give me a roll for that. That's a pretty good question. She is very motivated to have this war over.
Sway?
This does feel social. It could be sway, it could be consort. I mean, it feels more like a sway, but
Yeah. I mean, I have one in both, and I am pushing the stress meter. I don't know if I want to push myself and take 2 more stress. And I've got 2 levels of harm.
the harm that you have is physical. They only apply when they would apply. So
yeah,
that your physical harm would not affect you in this particular instance.
Oh!
Push himself.
That is a 6. Okay. A 6 on your 1 die. You have it. And she sort of stops and she looks at you, and it's mostly conspiratorial, but maybe a little bit flirty. And she goes, well, you know, there's really only one way to find out. As I said, it's not technically part of the library. I wouldn't be... Well, it wouldn't conflict with any of my responsibilities just to check.
It certainly won't conflict with any of my responsibilities.
I don't have...
And he winks.
I love the wink. I love that. She goes, I don't have the key to get in on this side, but I'm sure there's a way. There must, I mean, we have to try, right?
It couldn't hurt to try. If we can't get in, we can't get in. But it's worth checking to see if there's anything that could help us recover.
Oh, anything that we could be together forever sooner. Yeah, I love that for you. So there aren't any like extra consequences with a 6, of course. You don't have any like clocks ticked or anything like that. She does not possess a key. Haha, possess. She's not like a government, like she's not the liaison librarian, I guess you could say there. But you can kind of see from her demeanor that it seems like if you tried to pick the lock right now, she would be like okay with it. She seems like she's sort of on your side at this moment.
All right. I believe that is a tinker.
Tinker or finesse. I mean, there are a number of ways that you can handle it. This one, because it is physical and involves dexterity with your hands, the harm will come into play here. And
Oof. How so?
I feel like I was going to...
Because I only have 1 in tinker, and if it takes away a die, then I'm screwed.
Well, hold on.
Push yourself.
And then Scott.
I only have 3 more spots for stress.
You're gonna live forever. And in Deep Cuts Rule 2, by having your harm invoked, that's an XP mark for you as well. So it's not always bad.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming you go
So
through.
my harm's been invoked twice, so I get 2 XP.
No,
both of your harm is
Cold.
It's the kind of the same harm, I would say. So I would get 1 XP for that. You have less effect, which I tend to do everything by plus die, minus die. You have fine lockpicks, so that would be a bonus.
Just kind of offset the negative.
Yeah, because this is like your thing that you do. which I'm a little surprised that your dots are kind of set up the way they are, because I would think your highest dots would be in the ones you use for lockpicking.
I went with being sneaky. I went with prowl. And that's what I mean. I'm trying to bump up insight so I can bump up tinker. But
and here's another thing. You have infiltrator as a special ability. You're not affected by quality or tier when you bypass security measures. That's going to be really important, because even though this is an old lock, this is like
A good lock.
Duskfall government quality. So this is a much higher tier than you, and that was going to be a problem. But I just saw that you have infiltrator, so it's not a problem at all. It looks like at this moment your harm and your fine lockpicks kind of balance out, and quality and tier don't matter to you at all. So it looks like you just have a straight roll at the moment.
okay, here we go. Still risky.
Yep, normal roll.
Wow.
Oh, dude, you gotta get sick
Six.
more often.
Another 6. Excellent.
Everything's
So-
coming up Millhouse.
It does take a while to get through this because it is a higher quality lock, but and your hands are a little bit stiff. It does take a while to get through, but you don't run into any issues. It doesn't seem to trip any, I mean, the alarms would be dead anyway, right? But it doesn't trigger any problems. And also your date seems like extra impressed that you're like rugged and sneaky and mysterious and ooh. So she loves it. She's in on this. And as a little treat, because you have rolled 2 6s in a row, what I will say is when you get through the door, she tries to go with you, and she realizes that she, as a ghost, cannot. That's not part of her, like, part of the library, and not every ghost is, like, bound locationally, but it seems like she is. So I will say that you can go through this door, and she doesn't. She seems a little confused for a moment, and she goes a little bit misty, and she just kind of says, oh, of course, I will be the lookout here, and I'll signal if anyone comes. Like she kind of comes up with her own reason why she would stay behind, because she can't follow you. So now you are in a shared, it's almost like a Jack and Jill kind of room, right? Like it's a small room, and there's doors on either side. And you realize the other one probably goes to some like government, like DMV or whatever sort of thing. But in here, there's a bunch of Zettelkasten, the giant cabinets with like teeny tiny file cabinet drawers that have all the like note cards in them and tells you all the file cabinet stuff. Like there's just a bunch of stuff in here. So if there is anything that seems useful, you have time at this moment to look for it. I will probably want to make it like a roll at least, to see how good you are at looking through stuff like that, see what you find. But some examples of stuff that, and you can tell me what you want, and you guys can figure this out together too. But some examples of stuff you might find is, some maps of the sewer system that was down here, or the buildings and residences in this district, stuff like that. Anything that might be helpful, you can ask me.
The waterways.
Yeah.
Can we keep it vague and just say like 1 or 2 future flashbacks?
Yeah, we can just say like Lost District official documents. We can do that. But how I would want that to go is I want you to give me a roll, and then it would be like, if you roll really well, it would be like maybe 3 official documents. Or if you rolled like crap, maybe it'll only be like 1, like that sort of thing. And we can kind of go from there.
So a survey, you think?
Survey would work. Study would probably also.
I got nothing in study. I got 1 in survey.
We'll go for survey then. Why not? It is your.
Oh, gosh!
That is 3 sixes
My
in a row.
God. On 3 dice.
Yeah, on 1 die each, he has rolled 3 sixes in a row. Okay.
Happy birthday to Scott.
Happy birthday to Scott. So I'm
His
going to go
calves are
ahead
bone
and put
dry.
on your loot that you get 3 official documents.
That's nuts. Roll 20 has never rolled like that for me. I roll 20. That's one of the reasons I don't like roll 20 so much, is that it's always rolled crap. That's nuts that I've rolled 3 sixes in a row.
It's making up for it. And now we're
It
going to
is.
give your voice a little break. We're going to leave you in there rummaging through stuff and just shoving as much as you can into your pockets. And we are going to cut back to our friends in the danger room. Hello, friends. What are you doing in the danger room?
So Vale is by the book, right?
You guys are... Last I checked, you guys are getting closer to it, and Vale was the closest.
Yes.
Vale, did you take any harm for being...
Nope. No, he fell like 10 feet and he was okay.
Okay. Well, then there you go. You guys now know as players that when you get close to this thing, you're going to take harm. Like if you get like within touching with your hands distance.
So there was something else next to the book, or was it just the book in the middle?
Yep, there's something else next to the book. So the book you gather, this is probably the book you're looking for, right? Like if there's a big spooky book on an altar pedestal in the middle of a room surrounded by bodies, you're probably not looking for one on the shelf back there.
Even if we are, that's the book I want. So.
Right? I mean, honestly. But there is something else next to it. There is, oh, sorry, I have this wrong. So the pedestal that you're looking at is almost like 2 levels. It looks kind of like a podium where the book is like set up and open, but there's also another like marble piece in front of it. And on that pedestal is a small, it's like a wax seal. The closer you get to it, you can see it now that this is a brass handled like wax seal stamp, except the bottom of it is doesn't seem to be rubber or metal. It looks like it is some kind of gem.
Okay.
But it has a brass handle.
Does.
Barney starts like falling back. Peebo, go help Vale. And can I attune? Can I see if anything's going on in the ghost field?
Yeah, totally. Go ahead. Make me an attune roll.
I just kind of like nod to Barney as I just kind of like keep walking up, kind of oblivious. Except I think my eyes would kind of focus on that little gem-crusted copper handle tool there. I'd be like, well, hey, the Hawk.
What's happening?
Wow.
Roll 20 is broke.
Roll
Roll
20
20 is
broke.
broken.
The Hawk wanted some copper tools from the espresso machine upstairs, so I'm definitely going to be interested in getting that because I think he'll be happy if we bring that back for him.
Yeah,
This is not
roll
actually
20 might
anything out of-
genuinely be broken. It just rolled
Yeah.
double 6s for Barney.
So
Okay,
5
everybody,
dice,
just
all
for fun,
6s.
real quick, everybody just try and roll something. Okay,
There we go.
Peebo got 4s and 5s. Hawk got 4 and a 6. 3 and 2. Okay, so it knows we're onto it.
Is this it? Yeah. All right.
All right, we got some 1s in there. Okay, so you guys, all right. So then I will take it. Then I suppose you have double 6s on your attune. So, well, first of all, I will tell you an extra treat that you don't know about is you will get some help for a problem that might come up later. So don't worry about that, but yay, congratulations. Second, it's real weird in here. It's real weird in here. It is, you know when air is like really hot, like if you open a car door, you can like see the air, you know,
You get
and
that
it has
little-
like,
that little-
it has like shadow almost, and you're like, that's odd. That's kind of like wavy, like it looks like that everywhere in here. Like it's just kind of, there's a lot of buzz in the air, in the shadow realm. What is this called? Ghost field.
Ghost field.
Don't mind me. I get everything mixed up with Yu-Gi-Oh. So the things that you see, the bodies that are around this circle, the bodies that are around on the floor, they're just like husks. There's nothing in them. And you would expect some sort of like residue, something on them, right? Like you would expect a dead thing to at least have like a bit of a residue of a signature or something, but they don't. This book and the seal are glowing heavily, brightly, very glowing. And then also there are like you didn't really notice them before, but around on like around the tables nearby, there are a bunch of like scrolls, and you're like, yeah, right, it's a scriptorium, of course there'll be scrolls, but those are glowing the way you would expect a soul to be.
Really?
Yeah. And that's kind of strange. Also strange, you see around you your friends. Yes, they have the soul aura, right? But it's as you watch them, it's not concentrated on the inside of their being like it used to be. Like you kind of watch it sort of siphon into the words that are being written on their skin. Like their essences are being pulled out of their body to the surface onto their skin. And you can see, especially in Vale's, it's happening in like 2 different colors. There's still bits and pieces of Caro. Some of his memories and some of his wants are still kind of stuck in there, and that's also being siphoned out and written in random patches on Vale's skin as he gets closer.
Got it. Do I see a way of interrupting this? I assume it's a ritual.
So with double sixes, it was a ritual, and it looks like it wasn't. You rolled to look into the spooky field, right? But I'm gonna say that you rolled to like figure out what's going on in a supernatural manner.
So I think that people are slowly being turned into these parchments,
or sucked into them, yeah. And it seems like this. You're kind of looking around at like the position of some of these bodies, and it looks like the original ritual was to do it with maybe certain people. There are like 2 or 3 that are sort of like central, but something went wrong and it started happening to everybody in the room. And you get the impression that was probably not the intended effect, and this is still kind of like still happening, like the program is still running. But you do think that being the case, there's probably a way to stop it or to end the ritual, and then you would probably be able to interact with these things a little bit more safely.
Okay. Yeah, I'll.
Good.
I was going to say, I think Vale kind of scooches back over to Barney and sees sort of his esoteric mind sort of at work and kind of putting together the pieces of the puzzle. And as Vale's walking over, he's taking his shirt off because he wants to be able to watch the ink fully kind of come over him, and he's sort of talking in his ghostly attuned echo voice that he's able to do, and watching it go on him, and he's talking with Caro, who's not there as well. And then he comes up to Barney and he says, this is the best thing I've ever seen before. This is very exciting. You suppose this is some sort of ritual gone amiss, is your presumption. It's still in action. Was that your conclusion?
Absolutely. These are people. I mean, I take one of the scrolls and I carefully, I cherish this. This is a spirit. So, I'm taking this, this. How are they transporting it into this? We must learn more. But we have to. You're in danger.
Yeah, Vale, and Vale is way into this, and so he is grabbing kind of just parchment and looking at his skin. He's going to just study this, just to try to get a base or understanding of how all the components are sort of working in with each other and interacting, and kind of plussing on to what Barney sort of understood. If I could just roll a study roll and just try to get a better understanding of how this is processing.
Mm-hmm. And the book is open too, so you can kind of look at what you're holding, and compare. Yeah, you guys can totally.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Did Vale take the book then?
Vale does not have the book yet. No.
Okay.
It's open on the pedestal.
Yeah. Yeah. Peebo was walking towards Vale when he noticed Barney doing this, but Peebo just kept on walking right past Vale as Vale turned around to go look at Barney. And the first thing, Peebo would do is, he's gonna, as he's looking at the book, he's gonna reach down and grab that tool though, and just kind of take it and put it in a pocket. But then,
as I see him do it, I don't stop him. I just say, grab the brass.
Yeah, I did. That's the tool. Yeah, I grabbed the tool with the brass handle, tossed it in a pocket, and then and then I'm just gonna look at the book. But books are for nerds, according to Peebo.
Yeah, Peebo can't read.
So he's gonna be like, "Yo, Barn, you want this?"
Does anything happen when he grabs the
and grab two hand? Now, do I take, because I'm right there in front of the thing, would I take a damage, like you said, from being in its presence, or?
So when you pause for a second, we'll get there. You don't take any damage from the seal. You will for touching the book. We'll get there in 1 second.
Yep.
Vale was going to roll something. Let's do that first, because if I'm going to lore dump, then I'll at least be able to use proper names for things when I'm explaining to you what happens.
Perfect.
It was a 1 and a 5, a success with a consequence for study.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'll just tell you now, your consequence is that the last tick on that clock, guest arrive. So
did you guys get the charcuterie board ready for the guests?
So at this point, and I think thematically, narratively, it makes very sense. It makes very sense.
One sec. Before you do that,
very
Jenna,
sense that you take the thing, and then, hey, guests arrive. A sort of pulse of energy goes out. It's almost imperceptible if you're not kind of attuned right now. So Peebo probably doesn't notice it at all.
Nope.
But
Zero.
you two do. You two feel a little bit of a boop, 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 sonar wave sort of thing, and go,
that's probably
not good. That's probably not good. And you start hearing what I can only lazily describe as ghost noises, scratching and howling and sniffling and rattling and, all the things that you want to hear when you're trapped underground with no elevator in the Lost District. And the bodies that are by the door, the ones that were piled up by the elevator, these were people obviously trying to get out who couldn't succeed, sort of come back up. What was that?
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, there was some piano something. It might have been on my end. It doesn't matter. The helpful thing from earlier from Barney rolling 2 6s is that Scott is upstairs basically by himself when this little pulse happens, and his only friend is also a ghost, and she is what we would call a reconciled, like she's a ghost who has like memories and feelings and she can speak and stuff. But you can see this kind of hit her, and just for a moment, because you don't notice the pulse itself, but just for a moment she almost looks like she's underwater, like her hair like blows forward and the skirt comes up and everything. She kind of like, and then when she comes back, she doesn't have, like, she's much more blurry and much more, the only word that's coming to mind is visceral. She looks much more ghostly and much less personality
Put together
at this moment. Yeah. And you can also hear the scraping and the howling and the ghost noises, your favorite noises. However, you have a friend. You have a mechanical book reshelving unit that is basically a hull that has been eating any spirits that wander down into the library. So when these noises start up, the hull that has just been very happily sitting in its own little corner, reshelving nothing into nothing, kind of like starts chugging itself up, and some little hydraulics kind of, it's on like not a conveyor belt, what tanks have,
treads.
yeah. But there's like some little hydraulics that sort of like raises it up on that, so it's all big and tall, and all the clamps come out, and it seems like this guy is going to help you a bit, so you're not up there like entirely alone by yourself when a whack ton of ghosts come surging into this library to find whatever it is that made that delicious ping. Yes. So that's the consequence. So what you figure out with a 5, I will go ahead and tell you, like, the book is open, you can see the things, it's got like proper nouns in there. This book is called the Soul Trap Grimoire, and the seal is called the Soul Trap Carnelian. And basically, before the cataclysm, ghosts didn't just like come out of bodies on their own. So if you wanted to separate a ghost from a body, you had to like do it manually yourself. So this book contains instructions to pull the spirit from the body and trap it into a sealed scroll. Sorry, the Soul Trap Carnelian seals the wax and like keeps it in there. And then the scroll would like leech the spirit out by like basically writing this person into the scroll, right? And then when it's sealed, that's it. It's in there. It's done. The person is dead, and the ghost is like in this thing.
Pre-catechism spirit bottle.
Kind of like a spirit bottle, yeah. The interesting difference being that if you were to open this scroll, other stuff will happen. But one of the things that will happen is scrolls have words on them that you can read. So if you're trying to get information about someone's past or memories or history or secrets or wants or desires or whatever, that's going to be written on this scroll. And soul jars don't work that way.
Right.
So that's kind of neat.
Barney's
So these
definitely
guys are a
taking
package deal. The person that asked you to get this book didn't say anything about the Carnelian, but they really go together.
Little extra credit.
Yes, a little extra credit. So there you go. You have this new all this new fun stuff now. So Peebo, Jorts, you touch this book, and this thing is still kind of going as you do it. Your biography has been, it starts with your words, and then your thoughts, and then your feelings, and then your life history. The fact that you peed the bed until you were 10, and your dad never said he loved you. I mean, everything. It's all in there.
I like that 10 seconds of warmth.
Hence the Peebo. Peebo, that's where Peebo came from.
That's right.
So all of that was written on your skin, and as you
oh, now it's cold.
This book, you start seeing there was an empty scroll, and it starts to disappear off your skin in the order that it came onto your skin. So the first thing that disappears is from your fingertips is your most recent speech, and is starting to write. What disappears from your skin is writing onto the scroll. And you kind of get the idea that if you were to just sit here and hold this with your hands for long enough, your whole entire soul and personality and character would be ripped from your body into one of these scrolls. And that's probably kind of what happened with these guys.
Get that book in a bag. Let's go.
Well, yeah. As I feel that and everything, and I kind of realize what's happening, but to me, it's more ghost horror. I don't fully 100% understand the process, and I know Barney will, and he loves books. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be like picking it up, look at it for a second, freak out a little bit, slam it shut, and then toss it, just throw it right over to Barney.
Vale catches it. Barney ducks, Vale catches it.
I assume you have some sort of, fancy lead-lined bag or something.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Part of my arcane implements will contain some sort of device that protects.
Perfect. Check off arcane implements. That makes perfect sense to me. 1 second.
It's kind of like it's a cloth, but it has slight brass, threads going.
You got like a chainmail in there.
Yeah,
but I keep the brass tool myself.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I turn to Val. That to the hawk.
Yeah, and I turn to Val. I'm like, we have to go now.
Yeah, and he's and Vale says absolutely, and he says initiate reverse ascension protocol, and I will do a quick flashback. And as Vale was descending, he was establishing counterweights along with him with his climbing gear. And at this point, the counterweights just need to be cut, and we will just be zip elevatoring up as we go, not safely but quickly.
Yeah, perfect.
And I turn to people and I go, he means climb.
Great.
Yeah. So I see them do that on theirs, and then Peebo runs over to his. He's like, "Oh, that's nice." He pulls out like a little knife and just cuts a little bit of his rope, and the rope just falls down. He's like, "What? Why didn't mine?" So he has to like jump up and. So they're gonna be like a little bit ahead of me as I'm like manually pulling myself up.
I have one question for you before we switch back to Scott, which is, I love the flashback. That's great. You were just in the hallway. I think rope is part of your gear. Mark it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's like a no stress flashback. You had time. You were by yourself. Like, it's all good. Just mark off your gear. How are you getting to that elevator shaft though? Because there are, I'm going to say 3 bodies that had been just piled at the bottom, that are now like skeletal, like coming towards you, not happiness.
Yeah, I think before we cut back, he'll turn to Peebo and he'll say, brandish the seal. It's your sword.
Are you trolling Peebo right now?
No. I mean, we can use that, right, to sort of manipulate spirits and move them into scrolls. Maybe this can be our weapon out of here. I don't know if there's still spirits that are inhabiting them or energy or something.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So that tool I just got that I want to give to the hawk. Pull it out then.
I mean, I guess
Unfortunately, you said the brass part was like the handle, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. And the seal is the carnelian gem.
Yeah.
Right. So I wouldn't really be swinging the brass at them per se. You'd be swinging the gem at them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that out of character because I know that that's not gonna. You know what I mean? Brass is what we usually would want to do, but yeah, Peebo he was told to swing
just because the brass is in your hand, it's still there.
It might help some. We'll see.
Yeah.
He'll go out and
it'll be fine.
Hold it out like a sword. Now it's obviously not, but
yeah, this thing is. We'll say it's kind of like this size. Like it's a good, it's like a hefty, like a royal supposed to take up space on a desk kind of thing. So the carnelian's like that, and you've got like a good chunky handle.
And then as you're leaving, I'll take off my last box and I'll toss you a pair of brass knuckles as well, an unusual weapon.
Barney's pulling out his lightning hook and just keeping them at bay while he moves around.
Okay. Catch the brass knuckles, I guess, throw them on the other hand then. And then, start try to keep them at bay with the tool and the carnelian.
So I will say that usually speaking, brass knuckles is like the name of the weapon. They're not normally actually made of brass. Since you're calling it an unusual weapon, I'll say, yeah, it's kind of weird that this is actually made of brass. The way someone might say, my platinum brass knuckles.
They're totally made of brass. That's why they're called that.
I'm in Duskball, where brass is very expensive. What I'm saying is usually you low-level schmucks cannot afford solid brass knuckles. But since you're pulling out an unusual weapon, I'm going to let you do it.
I think these are loner knuckles.
Yes.
Or they might just be like plated in brass or something, but still,
Yeah. Like they're brass knuckles, but
yes. Trace amounts of brass in it.
Yeah,
mostly
it's actually like the driftwood you found at the bottom of a stream and plated it in brass and
pyrite, zinc, wood, and a little bit of brass.
Yeah.
Anyway, totally. So you have the Soul Trap Carnelian in one hand, and you have brass asterisk knuckles in the other.
Brass strix knuckles. I like that.
Brass strix.
And you're just like punching. Is that your go? You're just knocking him out of the way.
I'm gonna try to tell. Well, no, yeah, I guess I would. I'd point the carnelian at them as like a sword, but realize it's not a sword.
Yeah, it's not like gonna do a lightsaber thing. It'd be cool if it did.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, this isn't doing anything, and then just come in with the hook and
Totally. I mean, wreck, skirmish.
Skirmish. Yeah.
I will assist him with, like I said, I'm using the lightning hook to kind of keep them away from me and Vale, but helping Peebo as well.
Mm-hmm.
So get an extra die from me. There we go.
2, a 3, a 6.
Hey, a 6. Peebo goes punching things. I know how to do that. And starts punching things. You guys are able to get up the elevator shaft. It's spooky in here. You can see as you're climbing up the shaft that, the stuff on the bottom has been right punched. But there's like hands start coming through the elevator shaft as ghosts are like clawing their way through to find you guys. And you're like, oh, time to go. All the way up. But with a 6, you make it. Even you, Peebo, even though you have like some rope situation happening. Congratulations on that. So I'm going to cut back to Scott real quick because you hear the howling and the scrabbling and the scratching. And it gets way, way cold all of a sudden. Your friends are downstairs separate from you, and now there's kind of a thirsty looking ghost in front of you in the only open door. Technically there is a door behind you. You don't know where what's back there. What would you like to do?
I will try that door.
To the
one behind
government?
me, yeah.
Yeah. Same situation as before. It is very locked. Was that a roll and I missed it? No, okay.
No.
So we can do the same thing. I can offer you a devil's bargain. You can push yourself. This one I'm going to say is probably a desperate action because this door's kind of, you got 2 choices. go through ghost, go through door. There's no in between, and you don't have time to futz and fiddle like you did.
Does it look
before.
like she's getting like? Is she antagonistic now?
She is not at this moment attacking you, but it looks like she is becoming that way, we'll say. Like,
Slowly
this is
turning
affecting
feral.
her. Turning, I guess, is kind of the... This is the
She's-
ghost equivalent of turning into a werewolf.
But she hasn't come through the doorway yet. She's still in the library portion.
Mm-hmm. I did say earlier that it didn't seem like she could go through the door
she
to where
can't
you are
come
right
through
now.
the doorway.
So either you fight your way past her to meet us and we go out the way we came in, or we try a new way out.
I don't think this is going to be a way out, but I think there may be something in there that is. I mean, the door's locked for a reason. But it may be best to cut our losses, and I'll try to pick it quickly.
Okay. I will also say, for the sake of argument, obviously this is happening at the same time that you guys are coming up. So either way, however this roll goes, you guys are going to be like up with him by the time whatever happens. So you guys are almost together.
Yeah, man, we gotta go.
You said desperate.
I did say desperate, which means you have to get a 6 or it's a failure. Would you like a devil's bargain?
No, I would not.
You can always listen to one.
Entertain the offer. There we go. That's better.
The streak is ended, folks.
There we go.
That there is a 1. All right. How are we going to do this? This feels like a big failure to me. You guys are up
How
in
much
this
stress do you
room.
have?
3 stress
Three
left.
left.
I mean, I have 3 open.
Okay, a little tough to resist when you're at that point. Well, actually, no.
You
Depends
still
on.
could. You still could resist if you wanted. Let's talk about some of the things that need to be resisted here. Because it feels like this is a multiple scenario situation happening. One, you guys kind of arrive upstairs through the elevator shaft just in time to kind of see some of this happening. You don't have like direct view into the room where he is, and you didn't know that room existed before. But you're like on the same floor at least. Yes, the hull is still like, as spirits kind of like claw their way in through the walls and through the floor and through the ceiling, this guy's kind of going ting 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 ting, and like
I was
kind of
gonna try and lead him there. So yeah, okay.
yeah, so
That's what
he is
Barney
still
would be
doing that.
doing.
He's doing great. He's very good. However, there are a lot of them, and Fawn is fully like ravenous, there's nothing here anymore ghost at this point. She still can't go through the door to get to where you are, but she definitely has like just the thirst is all that's happening. Like it's that like there was a drop of blood in the water and now all the sharks are frenzying, that sort of deal.
Mhm.
You can't get through the door with a 1. I mean that's just how it is. You don't have the same time, and your hands are like cold and shaking already. But I feel like we gotta. It's really cold. It's really cold where you are now, and not just because like she's radiating, but also because like more ghosts are sort of like coming towards you. So I think we're just gonna continue this harm thing, but also some of your stuff that you have on your person is like frozen and shattering. So I'm going to say that you lose a tick of load, like you lose an ability to use one item. And I want you to take another first level harm, and we're gonna call this one cold or freezing or whatever I said the first level one was. And you are still kind of trapped in this room and separated from your friends. Now, hello friends, you are here. What
Peebo,
are you doing?
grab the hull.
Grab
Grab
what?
the robot.
The whole thing?
Grab the robot. How big is the robot?
Bigger than you.
Is it bigger than me?
Is it bigger than Peebo?
Is it wrong to be
We'll call
strong?
this like the robot's kind of like refrigerator sized.
So anyway,
has
Peebo
to be
Peebo can pick it up and like use it and like rush at the ghosts with it, so it's grabbing ghosts ahead of us as we run.
Yeah, Peebo, just like get your running lawnmower and mow the ghost lawn. And
Yeah.
I am going to I would like a countdown clock of just surrounded, like just bad stuff is gonna happen. So go ahead and give me, let's see, it's 9:30, we have to end at 10. Go ahead and give me a 4-part clock. And we don't need to tick anything yet, but when the clock strikes 4, you guys are just overrun.
I thought was Peebo could use the bot somehow to consume Fawn so we can get Scott or Edward out of there and we can get out.
Oh, so you're just trying to push it towards Fawn. You're not trying to pick it up and bring it up the elevator shaft with you. That's
We're not bringing it with the elevator shaft. I'm
Okay,
using it
okay.
as any ghost that gets near us, Peebo just pivots and lets the bot eat it.
Okay. I feel like that is probably within Peebo's purview. Let me see here. But I think you can probably do
I don't
it.
want to control Peebo, but that's my suggestion.
Yeah.
to the
Yeah,
group.
that's fine. Yeah. I mean, you would mention that. I'd be like, do you have to tinker with it or you just want me to start pushing?
Push.
I don't think you need to tinker with it. You just want it to do what it's already doing.
Right, I know.
Hawk has an
that would just
idea.
be like, yeah, that was just me asking.
Either
You're
I'm going to
Barney.
lead it with a book. I'm going to lead it with a book to the ghosts, or Peebo's going to push it.
Or are you getting like a stick and tying a book to a rope?
Yeah,
Oh,
to it.
Lightning
yes,
hook, strap
exactly.
it onto the top.
Yeah.
So this sounds like a group action, it sounds to me. Like you guys are sort of working together on this one, or you can say like someone's helping the other person.
I have 2 can we use command for that? Do you think that would trying to command this thing to do what we want? Or no?
I mean, command is like verbally telling it what to do.
It is.
You're sort of coercing it.
But my character sheet doesn't have coerce on it though.
No, it does not.
Unfortunately.
I will allow a skirmish just as like a physical, you're trying to just like manhandle, push it around.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that because I'm well trained in that.
I will assist him, like I said. So I will take a stress.
Still risky, right?
Mhm.
Add a bonus die. Yep.
Okay. And then standard with the bonus dice 1.
Yeah, so you should roll 4. All right, 3, 2, 1, and 4. You got a 4. So with
People can count.
Woo!
This might not be the right order.
With a 4, 1, tick on the overwhelmed clock as your thing. I would also like you to take a cold level. Well, the character sheet doesn't have the level 0 harm in it, so just put it in your level 1. It will be fine.
For me?
Yeah, because you
Okay.
are like physically touching this thing as the ghosts
Yep.
are sort of like coming near it, so you're in like close proximity to them. They're not touching you specifically. They're trying to. This is a really weird situation of you guys using a book to bait the hull, and the hull is kind of using you to bait the ghosts, and you're a little bit like,
We're wrestling with
one
it.
of you is the belt holding up the pants, and one of you is the belt loops holding up the belt, but it's fine.
We have a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, you do. You do. So you do take that harm. This is not something that happens quickly, which is why you have to keep going, basically. Like there's
Mhm.
just ghosts coming to this area. It's not like, oh, you suck up one and now we're good to go.
Yeah,
So
it's
this
mostly
is
a way for us to get to the next elevator to get out.
correct.
That's
This
the
is
point
like
of it.
what you are going to be doing for crowd control until you can get to a position where your friends can get out. How are you guys getting the hawk?
Hawk.
The hawk is going to when the like I almost like you said one of my tools breaks. That's why the door didn't like he's working on the lock and the lockpick snaps in his hand. And so he just throws it and he scoops whatever, just whatever's on the desk right there in front of him, he just grabs it. And that would be the items that he gets. He reaches in his pocket and pulls out the Spirit Bane charm that Barney gave him last week, and holds it out in front of him by the chain, and just barges out the door.
Sure. Do you have an idea of what happens when you hold this thing up? Like, what does this particular one look like? Because we said some Spirit Bane charms are like bug spray and some are like bear spray. We said this was a bear spray one. So, like, what does it do, or what does it look like? Do you have an idea?
I mean, it's Barney's. What does it look like?
This one was actually a wrist snap, like a pendant that goes around the wrist. So, and it has a couple of different symbols on it. But it's more of it's a shield. It pushes back. So you'll actually see a physical
So it's almost like a rosary then, like that type thing as a bracelet.
Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, he'll put it on and just like hold his arm up, and just like no stopping, no pausing, just barreling through the door towards the elevator, yelling, "Run, run, 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 run."
Yeah, perfect. I think something like that is a limited, once you, we'll say there's something on it you have to break, like a glow stick, right? And when the two things mix, it makes this shield, and it's not going to last very long, so you have to
Sure.
you got to get out of there. Sure. So you guys are headed towards the elevator. That seems very reasonable. I like that. I think that we're in a pretty good spot with Peebo kind of doing crowd control almost. You guys get up the elevator shaft, like you said you had been putting. Vale has already done his flashback to be making the elevator a little bit more usable for everybody. So you get up to the welcome desk. You're almost out, and as you get through the front door, you see in front of you, like almost across the street, is another one of these rifts that you had seen before. And it's very strange because the rift opens up and everything is a completely different color, but it's almost like when you have one of those like then and now pictures in front of the same spot, it's like an overlay and the buildings kind of like match, but the style is different. And then suddenly, like out of this rift comes some random woman on a jetpack, just bites the dust into the street. The rift shuts. She is pancaked, and I think that's where we're gonna end it for tonight.
All right.
Okay.
Ian.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. So
Mistress of Duskfall.
So you guys have on you, let's just do a quick, just for everybody around, we have a couple more minutes. So we are going to be taking a quick break, not a quick break here. We're going to be taking a break from running Carrion Crew for about 2 months or so while we run Blades in the Dark 68 for a while, for probably like 6 sessions or something like that. So I know that downtime is for when we get back, but that's a long way from now. So we have like 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and get like our XP and stuff out of the way so that we don't have to remember it 2 months from now.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, I will remind you that the kind of named loot that you guys have is you have the brass espresso machine and tools. You found various historical books that are worth money. 3 official documents from the Lost District, whatever those want to look like for you. Your consequence that you still don't know about was called An Ally is Offered a Tempting Proposal. So that will come up later, and you don't know about it, and you don't know what it means. So that is kind of that.
You
Whatever
forgot
the-
a key piece of loot. You forgot. There's one piece of loot that's very
Oh,
important.
you
that
also got the book in the
No. We got a
The
jetpack.
jetpack. We got a jetpack.
Our GM just gave us a
Peebo.
jetpack.
Peebo got the jetpack.
That's safe.
a very busted and broken jetpack on a very busted and broken body of a person.
Brain did
busted.
kind of damage the jetpack. That's what caused the
Busted jetpack. It's him. I got
Peebo
it.
doesn't realize that he's going to wear it and leap off a roof somewhere, not realizing it doesn't work anymore.
Yes. Who does tests on things to make sure they work?
My conception of such an object, it seems so far away. I suppose
Scott,
I would
you
describe it as far out.
Or Hawk, you can note down the soul trapped carnelian because Peebo would have given that to Hawk.
Okay.
Mainly not because of the usage of it, but because it was brass and you took those other brass tools. So that's the entire reason I think that you would want it.
Okay, so did you execute a successful burglary, espionage, robbery, or sabotage? I feel like this was a pretty good burglary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and give you an XP for that. Did you contend with challenges above your current station?
Yeah.
Yes, I
Tell
mean,
us. Yes. Yeah.
Peebo tried to get his life written down. Did you bolster your crew's rep? Not really. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? I feel like the actual physical, you guys were separated into the spooky people and non-spooky people, was like such a metaphor for how this crew works that I'm going to give you that one.
Okay.
So that is 3 XP total that you get for your crew advancement. Payoff, which I'm using the like historical books that you guys can fence, is goes 1 coin per PC plus coin equal to the target's tier times 3.
Did you add the 3, or does that put us over the top?
I did not add the 3.
Because there's only 2 marks open on crew advancement.
I did not add any marks, so it looks like it puts you over the top and you get 1 more. So I will exit you out and you get 1, and you guys can pick a new thing for next time. I am wondering what tier you guys think that the Lost District like public offices would be, because government stuff tends to be very high tier, but it's also like old and decrepit, but there's also like spooky stuff, so it's a little bit like
3. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say 2 or 3. The library itself, other than the ritual, was essentially completely unguarded, and the
Yeah,
only
the
thing
whole
that
had like been clearing it a lot.
And other than 4 idiots knocking around and causing the spirits of the dead to uprise, there weren't like armed guards there or death monsters from the Deathlands. I think 2 or 3 is pretty much there. The problems that arose were our own fault.
Let's go ahead and say 2. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 4. That's still 10 coin. Because you 4 PCs. Which you guys have like an abundance of coin, don't you? No, you spent it all. Okay.
We just blew it all on
we
an
did,
upgrade.
yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
We still have
All right.
I mean, we're still pretty loaded.
Now we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We
need that
spent a
money.
bunch, but we still have there was still a lot in the vault. So
And now we have harm.
How much is in the vault? Talk.
However much I just put. So harm complications is a new thing. I want to say it's actually from Blade 68, and I'm putting it in this because I always forget that harm exists. So how this works now is when you guys take harm at the end of the score as part of the aftermath, there are complications for harm. So if you have, this is in the notion, by the way, so you can see what it is that I'm looking at. If you have level 1 harm, you roll the number of dice equal to your total amount of harm. And then you take the highest result. So however much you have, roll for it, and then if the highest is level 1 or the highest is level 2 or the highest is level 3, which nobody has level 2. I think you guys all have level 1. I'll tell you if there are any consequences.
Or I have a level 2 harm that flayed.
Yeah, okay. Self-medication. This character must use one of their downtime activities to indulge vice during the personal business phase. They take -1 die to the first time they do. So
Okay.
you have to extra indulge your vice.
Okay, great.
You have level 1 harm and you rolled a 1. You have no complication, Peebo. Barney, do you have any harm?
I do not.
Okay, Scott. I believe you have 3 harm, so go ahead and roll 3d6.
Barney tends to get other people hurt.
You were a very good boy this score.
He should have had 1 harm from when I threw him the book.
I had all intention of letting them get hurt from that.
Vale caught it,
That's
though,
right.
as
Vale
I
caught
said.
it, though.
Vale caught
Vale
it.
caught
Yeah.
it. That's right.
I ducked.
That's right.
All right.
I'm
you
trying,
can
Barney.
Scott.
I'm trying.
You're muted, Scott.
4. Okay.
never mind. Yeah, I got it. Oh, I couldn't remember how to just randomly roll.
Yeah, you're good. Shaken. You take -1 die to the engagement roll for the next score that your character goes on.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So those are your things. You didn't.
He's being silly.
I don't feel like you guys got any heat for this one because who would?
Who's outside the electric?
Yeah, there isn't really anybody.
The cadre of ghostly librarians were very
Mhm.
cross at us.
And people with jetpacks.
So you don't get any heat for this one. You also therefore don't get any rep for taking heat, but you do still get +1 rep per tier of the target above the cruise tier. So you're tier 1 and we decided it was tier 2, so you get 1 rep for the score.
No one's gonna believe we made it out and survived.
And then seized assets. Take +4 coin if you seized a load of cash. Very valuable stolen items can be fenced for 2 to 8 coin, but you take 1 heat for every 4 coin of value. I used the extra stuff that you got as your payoff. But if you tell me that you would also like to fence, for example, your documents or whatever, then I would give you extra cash for that as well if you wish.
I think we're going to use them for now. And
Seems
if we
like
decide
it,
to
yeah.
sell them, yeah.
You have to tithe to the ward boss 1 coin for every 4 coin you earn. So you have to tithe 2.
2.
Yeah, so I'm just
2
going
out
to
of
take that. Unless you don't tithe.
No,
I think we're tithing for now. Other things we're focused on.
Vaults, whatever. And then the entanglements and development and that sort of stuff we can all do next time. It's just the things that we needed to remember is the stuff that I want to get through. So real quick, you still have a couple minutes. We can do your character
Player
XP. Yes. You did, Scott, you did roll 1 desperate action, so make sure you mark XP for Fodat. Let's go ahead and start with Barney because he's just the first character sheet that I have up right now. You didn't roll any desperate actions. Did you address a challenge with knowledge or arcane power?
I would say yes.
I think I think that
Down-
happened. Yeah.
Big time.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
I don't know if I expressed them. I was certainly intent on making sure that Barney didn't take any harm in that room downstairs while Vale and Peebo would.
Did we do XP after last time?
I don't know.
At the
After
end of
the
the
party-
session,
after-
no.
After the party, yes. After the session, no.
After the party, yeah, but
So
not
not-
at the end
not
of the
part one
session
of
last
this
week.
Okay.
Right.
Because I do specifically remember there was a bit where when you first saw the hole that you were like, he kind of wants to just like stay up here and fiddle with this thing and not go do what we're supposed to do.
Eventually, I may come back here for that hole. There might be a job.
I think it's cool.
You struggled with issues from your vice or traumas during the session.
No, I don't think I did that at all.
I don't think you did either.
There's no gambling involved. Yeah.
Yeah, well, your vice kind of didn't exist in Old Duskfall, so it was a little bit not a thing.
But still gambling. I mean, I should probably be playing more into the gambling aspect of it. But yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 for that because I think you addressed many challenges with knowledges and arcane power. There was a lot of arcane power happening, so I'm going to go ahead and give you 3. Which means your playbook is full. You have 1 left over. You can pick a special ability, and we're moving on to the Hawk. Did you address a challenge with stealth or evasion?
Yep. When she tried to get me to walk into a big open hole.
There was a lot of evasion happening with her, yeah. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? I mean, your belief that you don't want to be near spooky people came up quite a bit. I would say you kind of struggled with that because she was locked onto you specifically. I'm going to give you an XP. And also, I think you just did great with that because you absolutely matched Fawn's energy. When she was like, oh, my darling, we'll be together forever. You were like, yes, my darling, we can finally be together. And I absolutely love that kind of XP. I think that was great. And I'm sure the Hawk and also Scott was very uncomfortable. And I loved every minute of it. So I'm going to give you 1 for that as well. And then you struggled with issues from your vice or traumas.
Trauma, as in harm, yeah, it cost me. Well, I don't have any trauma. That's a different thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. You didn't struggle with issues from your vice. Your vice came up, but I don't think there was issues from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. I think you have 3 then. And then Vale. Congratulations on a second non-trauma. Is this 2 sessions in a row that you just didn't? Wow.
It is. I got close. I kind of wanted to resist something right at the end, but ended up not doing it. Just didn't make sense, but I could have.
Yeah, it turns out when you have 4 people instead of 3 that you can really spread that stress around.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you address a challenge with deception or influence?
Nope. There was one sentient thing that wasn't us, and I didn't communicate with it.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Did a few times. He was pretty into the ghost in a probably not appropriate way. And then had a couple of sort of interactive flashbacks as well, where he was giving some advice to the Hawk about how to deal with amorous relationships when one is corporeal and one necessarily isn't.
Yeah,
I believe
absolutely.
the phrase was "she's hot even though she's dead."
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. Something extremely Vale happened there. And then did you struggle with issues from your vice or traumas? I think you mentioned something about your traumas last time, but I don't remember. And
yeah,
then,
he jumped down into the scriptorium by himself because it was both an obsessive thing to do and a reckless thing to do as well.
Yep, perfect. And then your vice being weird is you're like, ooh, give me the weird book. Yeah, I think so. I think you did. So it sounds like this one you got 2. You didn't do deception or influence this time, but you did get.
Well, that depends if you want to give me an XP for both traumas, not just one.
Ooh. You used it on the same action,
That's true.
so no. If you invoked them separately, I would say that you could get both, but combining them into one action, I think, is 1 XP.
Gotcha.
Yes. So there you go. I think we're good. I think we did it. Oh, Peebo. Peebo needs XP. Did you address a challenge with violence or coercion? You punched some ghosts, so that's one. Ghost punch. Did you express
Ain't
your
afraid of no
beliefs,
ghosts.
drives, heritage, or background? You did, actually, because we talked about how peeing your pants when you were 10 showed up on your skin.
That's true.
That's true, we did. Did you struggle
Yeah.
with issues from your vice or traumas? I don't even know what your vice is, dude. Gambling?
Gambling. It is. But no, I did not. It didn't come up here.
Buddy.
Okay, congratulations. You get 1 XP for your skin telling everybody that you peed your pants when you were 10.
Okay.
Excellent.
And one.
Blades in the dark, everybody. Our chat asked if we were using deep cut rules. Yeah, we're using a lot of deep cut rules, but not all of them. And also there's a few sprinkled things from the Blade 68 playtest that I am incorporating into this game too. So we're it's kind of an amalgamation and an abhorrent monster
Flexible.
mash of rules. Because that's just how I roll. Anyway, yes, so this has been our Valentine's Day special, Lost District. Everybody survived. There was a chance that you wouldn't, but then you did. Somewhere in the Lost District, as you guys speed off in your junk boat, the ghost of a woman sort of comes back into herself and is now hurt and heartbroken once more, and calls after you in the distance. So that's probably fine.
Do we hear Edwin as we zoom off?
Yes.
Yeah, except his name is Edwin, but yes.
Oh yeah, Edlin.
Something like that.
Can I share something with you, Jenna?
Yes.
I was gonna ask Barney if he could take her with us when we go.
I was gonna.
I will let you do that for free.
But you ruined it. Nope, it's gone.
We'll go
You
back
made
and
her
get
all
her.
mean and nasty and attacked me, so yeah, we're past that.
We'll
Sir,
go back
I'm
and
not
get
the
her
one
when we
that
go
rolled
get
a
the
one.
robot.
In sickness and in health, Scott. I mean, she has one lapse and suddenly you're away. I mean, come on.
Kind of guy leaves a woman.
Did Barney
hanging
do
out.
that anyway out of his own volition?
Yeah, Barney, did you take her with you without telling?
Sure. Yes. Absolutely.
I don't even know if Barney had the a spirit
I have-
jar
I-
or
I
whatever it
always
is that he
have 'em on
needs.
me.
He's always got him. Yeah.
I always got him. So we could say, as everybody else is going up, I just kind of and then up I go.
It's sort of like that scene in any movie where some guy runs out the door, he's late for work, and he comes back in and goes, "Can't forget these," and grabs the keys off the hook, and then exactly, perfect. Okay.
I put her right up on the shelf next to Nettle.
There you go. Please put Fawn, the librarian, in your inventory.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay, and we'll deal with everything else next time, which is 2 months from now. In the meantime, we're going to be doing cool stuff in the 60s. Groovy stuff, one might say. So this has been the Carrion Crew, and soon it will be the Diamond Jacks. But, for now, I have been Jenna, your GM, and these have been my crew. Say hello, crew.
Hello, crew.
Hello, crew.
I don't have much of anything else going on besides this. Eclipse Protocol is on a bit of a break at the moment because I have so much contract work that I need to do right now. I can't do fun things. Brett, what do you have going on?
Not too much either. Just have our usual. I have a usual D&D game that goes every other Sunday, but we've been off with real life stuff the past few weeks. So not much. That's why I've been trying to pick up and play a little more here and got a few more Death in Space things, so might try to get another game of that going here on the Random Encounters Guild, so keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, that's about it. So, yeah, Brandon, what do you have going on?
Well, thank you very much. So, starting next week on Wednesdays, a lot of the folks that you see on this call, Scott, Jenna, and my good buddy Justin are going to be reviving the one-shot of Blade 68 that we did a couple of weeks ago, where we are going to be fast-forwarding Duskfall 120 years to the swinging 60s, the time of spies, satellites, grooviness, psychedelics, and tomfoolery. We're going for a bit of a silly James Bond vibe, high action, high octane, and lots of room for mistakes. And so we'll be doing that. We'll be running about a season of that, an analog to a season in TV. So like 6-7 episodes or something like that. And yeah, that'll be next Wednesday. I'll be running it and really excited about it. And I'll pass it over to other Scott.
I'm Scott. I'm here on Random Encounters Guild. Well, no longer Tuesday nights, so Wednesday nights. But Barney will be left in the barge basement playing with ectoplasm while we find out more about Dicer. So over to the other Scott.
And yeah, I'm Guildmaster Scott, and here on the Guild, Sunday night we will have our 3rd episode of Alien: Chariot of the Gods. Last week was this past Sunday night was a lot of fun. We got a player down. He is actually playing Gatsby in The Great Gatsby in a local theater production here in town. So he was at rehearsal Sunday, so he couldn't join us. But we forged ahead without him, and I played his character, which and a tradition in my games is if you don't make my game and I have to play your character pees his pants. So he peed his wetsuit. And then Monday night we will have Symbaroum. We're playing Symbaroum every other Monday night, and so this coming Monday we'll be back with episode 2 of that. And then Wednesday we'll be here with Blade 68, which is awesome. I'm so glad I get to play more of that. And yeah, he peeboed his jorts. So yeah, that's us for this evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jenna, for a fantastic game as always. And I matched your energy because I was trying to get you to stand down. I know that sort of thing is not your jam in these games, and you kept pushing it, and I kept thinking she's going to back off sooner or later, and you never backed off. So yeah, thank you for joining us. This will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow morning when we all get up. If you missed part of it, and we will see you Sunday night for Alien: Chariot of the Gods. So good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.